Good morning. I don't even have like a tag phrase or something when I open it up. I know in the beginning, my other video, a couple, I was like, all right, all right. But whatever, we'll figure something out. Here I am in my satellite kitchen. It's not a satellite. I think I'm going to call it my satellite kitchen because too many people are polarized over Ukraine. Yes, I'm in Ukraine. No politics about it. My wife's Ukrainian. Okay, if you didn't see my first video. It's not a big deal. It's just is what it is. Um, I love it here. I want to retire here at least half the year. That's all. That's all I'll say. Um, Sorry, I'm still like a little sweaty. All I did was take my sweatshirt off, and here we are. Um, Before I make breakfast, I just wanted to say a few things about polarization. See, over Ukraine, over politics. You know, I'm not about politics. That's the other thing about Ukraine. I'm not going to say anything about politics one way or the other as far as American politics go. But I will say it's just ridiculous how people are so butthurt about it. You know, when I was a kid, I remember, so let's see, I'm 55 now. I was born in 1970. So if it was an election year, it had to be, I was 8 years old or 12 years old. I'm going to say 8 years old. And I remember going to the voting booth with my father, and they were like, oh, you know, your son has to stay outside. And this is back when you walked into the booth, you pulled the lever that closed the curtains. He did his thing in there, pulls the lever to send the thing in or whatever. I can't remember exactly, but and then the curtains opened and his vote was in. So we got outside and I was like, hey, Dad, who'd you vote for? He turned to me so angry. He's like, that's none of your business. He's like, who I vote for is my business. When you're old enough, who you vote for is your business. Don't let anybody tell you different. And I was like so scared. I thought like, holy cow, I did something terrible. So later on, I kind of like waited and asked him, I was like, why'd you get so mad? And he's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't mad. I doubt he said he's sorry, but you know, not that he was a bad father, don't get me wrong. Um, but he said that it's your right as a US citizen to vote in private. And he said it's nobody's business. That's why there's the curtain. That's why only one person goes in. Flash, fast forward to today, you know, that's all people care about. Are, you know, am I reduced to who I voted for? You know, I once said to a guy I worked with, this has to be like 10 years ago at least, I said, I have never seen any direct benefit or deficit or detriment to my daily life from who's in the White House. People might let themselves get upset over it, but my paycheck didn't change. Okay, sure, inflation. That's one thing. We're not going to get into that though. On a regular basis, prices go up, prices go down, taxes go up, taxes go down, whatever. You really want to be reduced to your political affiliation or something? Like, if you find out you've been friends with someone for 20 years and you find out they voted for somebody else, you're going to not be friends with them or you're going to think less of them? God help me. I mean, it's just crazy. So, that being said, one thing I wanted to touch on in the last video about AI and AI taking jobs. Have you noticed lately that if you call your doctor's office, you get an AI voice? It doesn't happen to me because I go to the VA for my health care. A real person answers the phone. So we were talking about this with a friend, and he's young, he's like 27. And he was telling us how, oh, and let me just say, my wife can't stand it when she calls the office and it's an AI program. They even have like typing sounds in the background and phones ringing in the background. So it sounds like it's a real office. It's crazy. But if you listen closely, you know, after the first couple questions, you don't even have to listen closely. You can tell it's AI. And we don't like that because we're older. Our friend was telling us how people in his generation and his age group and younger prefer to talk to AI and not have to talk to a real person. When they call someplace, they become uncomfortable talking to a real person. That is insane. If that's the way the country's going, the world is going, that these kids are growing up and they'd rather have interaction with a computer program, artificial intelligence, rather than talk to a real person. I mean, I'm speechless. And he told us, yep, that's exactly how kids are these days. I say kids, sorry, I'm not trying to offend anyone. Um, like, why don't you guys go back and watch the Terminator movies? Like, learn something about AI and what it's going to do to our world, your world, because it won't be my world anymore. I'll be lucky to have 20 more years here. Yes, I'm 55. I don't expect to live to a ripe old age of 90 like my father. I had too many hard years. I put my body and my mind through too many hard things. I just don't see it happening. If I live to 90 and I'm okay and still walking and doing things, great. But if I'm bedridden, I'd rather you just gave me some extra medicine, let me go night night. All right. Wow. I went from one subject to a whole nother area today. I'm going to go make some breakfast and maybe I'll throw up a couple of shorts later about the eggs we get here. Oh, hold on. I'll give it to you quickly. See, I'll show you the good stuff about Ukraine, the stuff that I love. This is how, if you go to the butcher shop, this is how you get your eggs. Or at our other butcher shop, they just put it in a little plastic bag and tie a knot in the top, and here's your 10 eggs. And they count it in tens because, they're on the metric system. But you can go to like the bigger grocery store. It's called ATB, but it's ATB. And you can get the cartons of eggs that are from a commercial place. But these are fresh. I have them in the refrigerator now, but in the store, they're not in the fridge. They're right on the counter, or they're like they have their own little stand where they're stacked up like this. No refrigeration. You take them home, put them in the fridge, but if you use them in the next 4 days, you don't need it. That's the thing about being here is, and I do eat a little more carbs while I'm here because everything's fresh. The bread is made better. It doesn't have a bunch of preservatives in it. We have a bakery right across the street in the back, a butcher shop 1 block over, and a new butcher shop right down this way. That's awesome. So you'll see in my shorts, the egg yolks, well, if you buy farm fresh eggs somewhere, like from a farmer or from a local farmer or what am I trying to say, like a farm stand, you'll know how bright the yolks are compared to like your Costco eggs, which I'm not begrudging Costco eggs, but it's such a difference and the taste is so different. It's really nice. When we go out to eat here, when we go to friends' houses, I was telling our friends last night at dinner, I was not complaining, but their daughter had some kind of like issue that they asked my wife for like a personal reference for a doctor's office. And then they were telling them about me and my whatever health problems I have. Acid reflux is one of them. So we said we had just bought in the regular grocery store apple cider vinegar. No editing here because I can't speak, because I can't edit. And it helps my acid reflux. That works for me. I don't know if it works for you guys. Whatever. I'm not a doctor. But they said, oh, hold on. Don't buy it at the store. They went in their fridge and gave me a jar of homemade apple cider vinegar. Like crazy, right? There are so many things that I can get here. Like we bought these eggs at the store, but we have 2 friends that each week they'll give me a certain amount of fresh eggs right from the chicken's butt. Can't get any fresher than that. We get cheese, butter, what else? Homemade stuff. And it's made by the people we know. So we know that there's no preservatives in it. It's awesome. I feel better here. I sleep better because I don't have a bunch of this junk in my system. It's just awesome. But I digress. All right, friends, can I talk about anything else that's in my immediate area today? No, but that was pretty funny because I forgot. I did use this first thing this morning when I woke up. I take a large glass of water and put a dash. Well, this stuff isn't as concentrated as the stuff we get at home. So I put a good dash in there. And that's how I start my day, before coffee, before anything else. And it really helps my acid reflux. So if that helps you, awesome. That's going to be it for now. I'll check in again later. If this was your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. I hope you guys come back. I hope I'm entertaining or informative. Let me know. Let me know if you want me to touch on something else. I'll be fine. Touch on another topic. That was almost a play on words. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you again soon. Bye. Didn't